Okay, so let's go ahead and get the aircraft in what we call a green jet configuration. Maul was talking to you about that last night. And I skid on, lights on, flaps half. And of course, turn on the brake. Not roll forward like me. Once you're done with that, let me know when you are what we call green jet or ready to taxi. In the meantime, okay. Meantime, I'm gonna orient my F-10. There's a fucking 60 on the runway, which I don't know what it's doing. All right, so if you want to go into your F-10 menu real quick, I'm gonna kind of outline what we're gonna do. Let me know when you're there and got over us.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll take off because that 60 is on the runway. What we may do is back taxi runway 11 to where that 60 is, and then turn around and take off 11 direction. So trying to. That seems like the quicker, easier thing to do. Anyway, we'll head to the seaboard, the coast rather, and then we'll turn south, and then we'll pretty much just skirt the coast heading south. Again, just focus on your formation flying, wedge, spread. Those things are looking good. We'll land. We'll come back and do an overhead pattern. I'm sure you've done overhead work before.
Yes and no.
Okay. I'll kind of, well, we'll talk about that briefly now then. So if you're looking on the map, again, we'll take off one direction. And on the way in, we may not even be able to land. I don't know what that fucking 60 is doing. Let's see if I can delete it.
It's always there.
Is it?
Yeah, it just sits in the middle of the runway, almost crashed into it yesterday on the way in.
Perfect. Okay, so what we'll do is, I should be able to land. Yeah, we'll come in and land the opposite direction we take off. So we'll land runway 29. Essentially what we're going to do is set up to get lined up with the runway about 5 miles out, and we'll descend to be at about 1,500 feet above ground level. And wherever that falls as far as MSL, we're going to kind of hold that altitude. We'll fly directly in like we're doing a straight in to runway 29. However, we're going to maintain altitude, and then we'll just do a break. I'll do a break as soon as I get over the numbers or the approach end of the runway, and then I want you to count to 5, and you're going to break the same way in the same direction. We're going to roll out on a 1-1 heading, 110 heading rather, which is the opposite direction, to put ourselves in a downwind, and then we'll turn base to final. We're going to maintain that altitude the whole time, and when we turn base to final, that'll be when we start losing altitude, typically about 2.5 degrees nose down, to set up for a landing for runway 29. Hopefully all that's making sense and I'm not sounding like a fucking retard.
Most of it does, don't worry.
Okay. All right, well, I'm Green Jet. You said you're Green Jet, correct?
Yes.
All right, buddy, let's rock and roll. I'm going to go ahead and start taxiing out. Hold on. This light is not on. There we go. You can go ahead and start taxiing, brother.
Two rolling.
Roger. Again, we're going to back taxi the runway, so I'm going to come out here, hook a hard right, and then we're going to taxi down to the UH-60, and then just do a 180 when we get to the UH-60. What we're going to do as far as our takeoff is concerned, we'll just do a rolling takeoff. Actually, we'll do a staggered takeoff, since we can't do a rolling, because we'll run into this motherfucker. We'll just do a staggered takeoff. Let's go 5-second min spacing. So I want you to count to at least 5 before you start rolling. I'm going to climb to, let's go 3,000 for now. Our initial altitude will be 3,000, and then my initial airspeed will be, it's been a while since I've flown this little motherfucker. Let's go with 300 knots. I'm not sure how she performs at what airspeed, but we'll make adjustments in the air if needed. Did you get some time flying in the aircraft, the T-45 yesterday? I saw you did a little bit.
Yeah, basically got the whole startup procedure down.
Okay.
Well, sat and figured it out because there's no training missions for this aircraft.
Yeah. Okay, here's the helo, just hanging out on the runway. Perfect. I'm gonna make a 180 and then set up to the left side of the runway. And then you can set up on the right side. Okay, I am set, going through my checks. Do you have any questions about what we're about to do?
Negative.
Okay, let me know when you're set. For our takeoffs, I'll call rolling, you'll call rolling once we're about to roll, and then I'll call airborne, wheels up, obviously at that, which time you'll also throw up your flaps, but that's a call that you'll also make as well. Once you get airborne, you feel comfortable, secure, and then you get the wheels up. You copy?
Roger. Set.
Okay. All right, brakes on, run them up. I don't know where the RPM percentage is, but okay. Leads rolling. Count to 5.
Two rolling.
Roger. Leads airborne, wheels up.
Two airborne up.
Okay, lead start a slow right turn, heading down the coast, as briefed.
Copy.
Airspeed just hit 290. Coming up on 300 knots. The brevity we use when you are in formation and you want to let lead know your information is that you're set or saddle, at which point your contract begins, that it's now your job fully to provide deconfliction from lead. All right, we're coming up on 3,000 as far as altitude. There's our 3,000, 304 knots exactly.
How close do you want your formations?
Well, let's start with as close as you're comfortable with being for now, and we'll go from there. Let's take a look. The brevity we use if you lose sight, when and if you lose sight is going to be I'm blind. So for example, 2's blind. And if for some reason you're able to pick me up, the brevity we use is visual. Got visual back on you.
Okay. Two set.
2, roger. Okay, so let's start moving forward. I want you, as you get a little bit closer, I want you to focus on the leading edge of my aircraft. I want you to imagine that there's a laser going down the leading edge of my aircraft, and I want you to position your aircraft to intercept that laser coming down the leading edge of the aircraft. It doesn't necessarily need to be close, but I do want you to kind of get that visual aspect within your mind for the wedge formation.
2. What is your airspeed at the moment?
301 knots.
Okay, I might need to change my parameters and options. Because I'm doing 321 and I'm just keeping up.
Okay. You're making your way forward, slowly but surely, so don't worry about it too much. It's not bad. So I want you to push the power up a little more. Again, look at the leading edge of my aircraft. Just pretend like there's a laser pointer going down the leading edge and try to intercept it. So a little further forward. You're looking good though, looking really good. My airspeed exactly right now is 299 knots. And you are just about in perfect position now-ish. So that's perfect. I'd come down a little bit, but I don't really give a shit if you're a little high, a little low. I don't really care. The positioning is all that matters, and right now your positioning looks good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and come down, come level down to my altitude, and I want you to try closing up just a little bit. So I said close up. That's the brevity we use to tighten the formation up a bit. Well, I'll tell you to kick out, meaning open up the formation a little bit. Looking very good. I like that you're being slow and smooth, brother. You can see you're not going to need too much work.
To rejoining, left side 7 o'clock.
Okay. So leading edge laser, right down the leading edge. Slow adjustments, nice and smooth. You're looking really good. So down a little bit. Let's, I don't know, you're consistent a little high. Just down a little bit. Keep it close. You don't got to kick out much. But you're looking good. Trim takes a little getting used to, don't it?
Yeah.
You're handling it well. All right, so that position there, maybe a little forward, a little closer would be ideal.
2.
And the reason for this is I should always be able to look left or right, obviously depending on the positioning of the formation where you are, and then be able to see you. And you'll get that as well when you become a flight lead. You want to be able to look and go, okay, there's my guy. Doesn't necessarily have to be closer, but we've come to figure the closer you are, the easier, you know what I mean, the better you become at this. So we could have guys kicked out. All right, so I want you to listen to this command. Let's get you a little practice now. Actually, I want you to get practice holding that position. You get in position and then you drop back. So let's go ahead and get some practice tightening up a little bit and getting into position and kind of holding. I'm not doing any throttle adjustments at all. So have you done air-to-air refueling by chance? Obviously not in this.
Yes, but not in DCS.
Okay. This is going to help you with your air-to-air refueling as well. Slow power adjustments. Just very slow, very smooth. Easy on the stick. You should just be applying constant pressure to the stick. And I want you to hold that positioning. Just slowly, nothing quickly, slowly start eking your way a little bit closer towards me. Very slowly. I'll do a little bit better of a job trying to keep her level, my aircraft level. Don't start dropping back. Push the throttle forward, you're dropping back. These minor adjustments are going to help you when you get to the air-to-air refueling portion of your training. because if you can get this down, the air-to-rear air refueling, while it's a completely different beast, will the training will go by significantly quicker, in my opinion. There you go. Constant pressure. There we go. Perfection. That's what I want to see right there. We're going to hold this for the next 1 to 2 minutes. I want you to get comfortable being right there, all right?
Copy.
Relax. Okay. You should be noticing yourself dropping back, and you should be compensating with power. Let's try to hold that position.
Trying to figure out what my speed difference is to yours, because my airspeed measurement I think is a bit different.
You when you're doing formation flying, so when you're doing formation flying, you're not looking at any of your HUD symbology other than perhaps your flight path vector to keep you straight and level. You're completely focused on my aircraft, because again, your contract, once you call set, our contract is not that I'm going to maintain a speed. Just like when we start fighting, I'm not going to maintain certain speeds. I'm going to be accelerating and decelerating, and if every time I do that, I'm going to be wasting a lot of time telling you, hey, I'm accelerating this. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it. So I guess what I'm getting at in a long wind sorted way is focus purely on my aircraft and making adjustments with the throttle based off of what I'm doing, as opposed to I said I'm going to be at this speed, or your lead said you're going to be at this speed. Just focus purely off of the adjustments my aircraft are making based off of what you're seeing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that positioning is perfect. You're not worrying about airspeed. Just to let you know, I'm showing 306. That doesn't matter. You're focused on me. You see me creeping forward, like right now. I'm pushing the throttle forward. You should be pushing the throttle forward. You see me pulling back on the throttle. You should be pulling back on the throttle. Always making adjustments, not based off of airspeed that I've told you, but based off what my aircraft is doing, because you are the wingman.
Yeah.
So, and this is another reason we usually will want you beneath us, because, yeah, you should be a little bit blind right now. So when in doubt, go down as opposed to up. Why? Because we can look up, I mean, other than the canopy bow, we can look up and see our lead, but we can't look down through the floor of the aircraft and see us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you go. You're working your way back into position slowly. This takes practice and getting used to, but you're doing a very good job. Looking at the leading edge of my aircraft, imagining that laser going down the leading edge and going, this is where I want to put my aircraft. I don't give a shit if it's just the nose of your aircraft. If you want that laser intercepting you, the middle of your aircraft, doesn't matter. Slow and smooth. Constant pressure on the stick. There we go. Slow and smooth. There we go. Looking really good, buddy. Looking really good. How are you feeling right now?
Good.
Good. You're doing well. Okay, so here's going to be a change up. This is you know where you should be because you're about there. This is going to be a little different. We're not going to, because we never fly straight and level, I'm going to start maneuvering right and left. So if I maneuver right now, my left wing is going to come up. As my left wing comes up, you need to increase altitude. Again, you're staying with that wing and that leading edge preferably. Does Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and start some maneuvering. I'm not adjusting the power at all. You're going to need to push the throttle forward to stay with my left wing. So push the throttle forward. And we're going to do a few maneuvers here. Very slow and gentle. But I want you to get used to following me off my wing. That nuance that you have to always want it to be high, I want you to this is going to be the first thing habit that I want you to break. When in doubt, I want you to be low. Purely because I can maintain visual with you by looking up as opposed to looking down. But I know what you were doing there. Because of the fact I came right, you went up, which is what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm talking out my ass a little bit, I guess. Which I do from time to time, so I apologize ahead of time, brother. Looking really good. Looking really good. Excellent. Off the throttle a little bit. Start coming back off just a hair. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, here we go. Let's change it up. You're adjusting, back on the throttle, back on the throttle. Beautiful. Brother, you're in excellent position. I'm looking right down the leading edge of my aircraft, and I'm looking right at you. So very good job, man. All right, let's switch it up. We're going to head back to the north, to the seaboard to the north. Off the throttle, off the throttle.
No visual.
Okay.
Visual.
All right, so I think you have the basic concept of the wedge down. You're understanding how to stay with us through maneuvers, which is outstanding. All right, here comes another curveball. So again, your whole job is to react to lead. So I'm not going to tell you what I'm about to do, but I'm about to do it. Okay, here's curveball. Let's see if you can adjust. I like what you're doing. So do you have the control for your speed brake?
Not as yet.
Okay, we're not going to worry about it. Hold what you got. I'm going to throttle up so you can get back in position. Okay. So you should be noticing that I'm not accelerating from you. I'm at idle completely. I want you to adjust, so you should be at idle as well. So you don't want to move forward. Again, you're just trying to hold that position. Let's go ahead and throttle back up. We're going to try that a couple more times.
No visual.
Okay. You said you have visual?
I do now.
Okay. What's our brevity if you lose visual?
Rejoining.
So what's the brevity code if you lose visual?
Fuck.
Blind. Just think of Ray Charles. Blind.
Blind.
Say again?
Blind.
Okay. Look down and right. Off your nose down.
Visual.
Okay. Perfect. Really good job. So I want you to control that rate of closure. Again, it's a constant game of just judging it by the eye. It's something that takes, I mean, you know this, it takes a little time, takes a little to get used to, so don't get frustrated with yourself. This is why we train. So look at me. There's two things you're going to notice, okay? Look at my aircraft. Look at the smoke coming out the back. You should see a change in smoke, and also if you're close enough, you'll hear it. That's your cue. Something has changed with the engine adjustment. I've went to idle. You should be the same. Look at the smoke. You see that?
Yeah.
And you should be adjusting off of that as well. So we're looking at visual cues as well as our rate of closure to kind of determine what lead is doing, because there's going to be times in mission where I'm looking at something and then I may come to idle just like I just did, and then I'll go, okay, I'm looking at my radar screen, and then I go, oh shit, this is what's going on, or I get a call, hey, do this, and then I'll come back full throttle just like I'm doing. It's completely the wingman's job to be watching, judge the rate of closure, and to maintain the positioning from himself and the lead aircraft. So, but you're doing a good job. What's the brevity to let me know that you're back in formation and in position?
2 sets.
Okay. Okay, you're in perfect positioning. So what would you call and let me know that you're in position?
2 sets.
Okay, I want you to close up formation. Let's go, I want you to be, yeah, let's close it up to maybe 5 wing lengths. Slow and smooth.
Set.
2, roger. All right, so listen up for this next command. This is the ideal position I want you to be in all the time. This is the 5 lamps about where you are right now. This is perfection, okay? So listen up. I'm going to tell you to do the same formation, but I'm going to have you switch sides. So the command for that is going to be as follows. 2, switch sides, go. That means the same distance, the same formation is going to remain the same. I just want you to go from the left side to the opposite side, to the right side. So here we go. 2, switch sides, go. You acknowledge with 2.
2.
All right, you're going to push the nose down. You're going to go beneath me, avoiding my jet blast, slow and smooth, and put yourself into the same position on the right side of my aircraft.
Two set.
2, roger. So now you got to get used to this other sight picture. Let's slowly start putting yourself back into position. Slowly start closing the gap. You did the right thing by calling set, even though you weren't in perfect position. Now, what you calling set, we can also call saddle, same thing. But by you calling set or saddle, essentially what you're telling lead is, hey, don't worry about those contract airspeeds and altitude that you got earlier. I'm in position now. It's my responsibility to follow you. So what that does is take a burden off of lead to now fly as he feels necessary, and it starts the contract with you to go, okay, I'm with you, you know, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slow and smooth, looking good, throttle forward, there you go. I hear your throttle adjustments. Excellent, excellent, excellent. About right there is perfect. Don't kick out too much more. Okay, here we go, listen up. 2, switch sides, go.
2.
Slow and smooth, no rush, throttle forward because you're making attitude threat adjustments. Slowly forward, nothing big.
Two set.
2, roger. All right. Let's do that a few more times, get you used to it. 2, switch sides, go. Your formation flying is getting better by the moment. I heard you say 2, so don't worry about it. Sorry, I'm talking my head off and shit. Like, dude, just shut the fuck up, probably.
2 set.
2, roger. You're a little bit forward of the leading edge, but again, I'm okay with that because you're letting me know you're about in position. So I'm not expecting you to call set or saddle when you're in perfect position. So you're about in position, which is good enough. This has been solid, man. You've been doing a really good job. Okay, so here we go. Let's go with some maneuvers. Just stick with me. So if my right wing is coming down, that means you're getting lower. Nothing dramatic. Off the gas, off the gas, off the gas, off the gas. Just keep looking up. Don't worry about it. On the gas, on the power. There you go, brother. Very nice. You see me rolling, you should be adjusting your wings as well, making some minor power inputs. You see you're a little high. Let's get some adjustments, slow and smooth. Off the throttle a little bit. On the throttle, on the throttle. There you go.
2 set.
2 roger. Really good job, man. Really good job. Very happy. 2, switch sides, go.
2. Set.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Two, roger. Slow and smooth. I mean, you're getting smoother and smoother by the moment. Okay. Next thing we're going to focus on, we're going to have a little bit of... Let's come a little bit to the right. We're going to set up for the initial. Now again, this is called the overhead traffic pattern. After we get done with this, I'm going to send you a couple of videos. One is how to work the overhead, the basic traffic pattern stuff, and how to calculate the altitudes. And the other one's going to be basically what we're doing now in these 2 formations, the wedge and the spread. Tack left, tack right. Line abreast, same thing, and it's going to kind of show you the sight picture we're looking for in the T-45. If you want to take the time to look over them, you can. If not, no worries. But the overhead brake is essentially a faster way for fighters to get into the airfield, as opposed to setting everyone up to do straight ins like they typically do with bombers or C-130s, KC-135s. That can also do the overhead, but more times than not, they're going to be just setting up for straight ins. What this allows is for all the fighters coming into the airfields to maintain airspeed until essentially they get right over the airfield. And we're going to demonstrate how that's done now today. I want you to stay in formation, but while we're going through this, if you want to relax a little bit, kick out the formation, you're approved to do so. If you want to tighten up, you can also do so, get a little practice. But I'm going to be talking a little bit, so just be comfortable. Just want you to get comfortable, rather. What we're going to do, as I explained earlier, is we're kind of setting up a little bit to the right, and then we're going to turn left to get lined up with runway 29. So we're going to need to turn left, I don't know, 60, 70 degrees here in a few moments. If you look at F10, at the airfield that we took off from Fajara, I believe is how you pronounce it, we're essentially setting up to intercept about a 6-mile final, but rather than descending while we're intercepting final, we're going to hold this altitude, which is right now I'm showing 1560 on the altimeter. Because we're over water, obviously the AGL and MSL are going to be the same, or they should be the same if everything's working like it's supposed to be. But we're going to maintain this altitude as we fly in towards the airfield. And then once we get over the numbers, as I explained a little earlier, once I get over the numbers, I'm going to brake. Because you're on my left side, I'm going to brake to the right. You're going to count to 5 after you notice me initially braking, and then you're going to do the same. You're going to brake to the right. And we're going to roll out on about a 110 heading. Maybe a little less, a little more, but about 110 should get us where we want to be. Is all that making sense?
Yeah.
I know I'm flapping the gums a little bit, but just trying to explain this next maneuver. Okay, so I'm looking at the F10 map. I'm going, okay, we should be getting lined up. So I'm making a slow left turn to intercept 290. Remember, power out. And when I roll out on a 290, the airfield should be off of my nose. Got about another 30 degrees to go. Quick glance at F10. We overshot it, so let's roll out here. And again, I'm making these calls, but like I said earlier, as a wingman, all you're doing is looking at me and adjusting off me. So I don't want you looking at your heading tape. You should just be looking at me. That's it. Okay, so we're approaching what's called about a 5-mile initial. And you're going to see how this works here in a few moments. Got a little low. Okay, there we are, back up to 1,500 feet. Okay, I see the runway and I see the airfield from here, so I'm starting my left turn to get us lined back up. Again, you're focusing on me. Beautiful. I hear the engine adjustment. I hear you adjusting. Excellent job. Okay, so I'm making an adjustment. Again, I'm at 1,500 feet. I'm coming in. If you look at me, take a quick glance forward. You should be seeing the airfield off our nose.
2.
Okay, so you're going back and forth. I'm making an adjustment to get us lined up. I'm going to come right here about now. We're at about a 3-mile initial or initial. As soon as I get over the runway, I'm going to brake to the right, maintaining about 1,500 feet. You're going to do the same. Do not adjust the throttle at all. All right. So here we are. I'm over the runway. I'm making a right turn. I'm going to roll out on a 110, count to 5. And then you're going to do the same thing. No throttle adjustments. Okay, I'm going to roll out on a 100 instead of a 110. That's getting me lined up pretty well with the... Now, let's come right to about a 110. Okay, next I'm bringing my flaps down, bringing my gear down. The aircraft wants to nose up. Now I am making power adjustments. It wants to stall on me. And I'm maintaining about 200 knots. This is called the downwind. All right, and I am turning base to final. As all this
What
making...
do you set your flaps to?
Full down.
Off or full?
Full. Takeoff, sorry about that, I should have let you know. Takeoff is half, landing is full. As I'm turning base to final, I'm looking at both the runway and the attitude, the flight path vector, trying to maintain about a 2.5% nose down attitude. And I'm slowly adjusting the throttle. I'm going to overshoot, which I did not want to do, which I already am. But I'm trying to roll out on final, perfectly lined up with the runway, which I did not do here. Which is okay, because we can make adjustments.
Oh, my head tracking well.
Yeah, that's something else you got to worry about as well. Go bullshit on you. All right, I'm on final. If you've got me in sight, you can turn base to final as well.
2.
I'm not sure exactly. People have told me different shit as far as the airspeed you should be landing at. I'm going to go for about 150. Hopefully it doesn't stall out on me.
At 150 you can still use aero braking with this aircraft, so yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to put the flight path vector right on the numbers. I'm off the throttle. And I am down. Just tapping the brake. So earlier we had anti-skid on. I'm not holding the brake down, I'm just tapping it. And we have the anti-skid on specifically for that, because if not for it, the thing will just fucking skid down the runway like you wouldn't believe. Okay. I'm exiting the taxiway at the first available. I'm off the runway. Let's take a look at you landing. Nice and smooth. I mean, you've done this a million times, so. Smooth as butter. Tap the brake, tap, 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 tap. Smooth. Looked very good. Don't worry about outrolling the runway. Just worry about that UH-60 though.
gonna make a UE on the runway.
Okay.
Also gotta go all the way to the end.
All right, go ahead and make a UE whenever you get a chance.
This thing handles like a brick.
That it does. That's probably a perfect way to describe it. Alright, I am taking my flaps off. And I'm getting her set up into parking. Excuse me.